Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Denver Home Advocate Report with your Denver Home Advocate, Don Betts. How are you, Don?
Very good. It's cold and a little windy here this week, so people are bundling up when they go outside.
I completely understand that. I just talked to Jane in Florida, and once again, my thought of I should be in Florida and not in these cold states. It's not even this cold in California where I came from. Like this is shocking cold.
Well, we missed the snowstorm in Denver Metro, which just recently hit up in the upper Midwest. So at least we didn't get that. So
That's a huge plus. So did we. They kept prepping us for it. They kept bringing up the 70s when we had snow in Las Vegas, and it passed right by us and took out the rest of the country. So wherever you are, bundle up. We're going to talk about the Denver Metro. As always, information in the description. Can't remember that? Type in Home Advocates. You'll find Don's information. Just that simple. Don, tell me about the Metro. How's it doing?
well, we're just a normal year. Things really slow down at this time. So that's where we're at. People aren't looking and they're waiting to see what interest rates are going to do. So buyers and sellers are on the sidelines and watching the football games. Now, as opposed to last year at this time, we were in a hot market even in December. I had a couple listings coming up. I was working with a couple buyers, so I was very busy in December last year. So that's what's happened to the market over the past year.
Here's what I wonder because you work with buyers. Do people think that the Fed rate has anything to do with the interest rate? And that may make them a little more reluctant to get involved in real estate?
Well, I think that they pay attention more to the dialogue that they hear and see on the news, the headlines. And I think all the talk of recession is deferring them. They're waiting to see, and that brings up to them um, these high interest rates, and so mortgage rates as opposed to the Fed rates. I don't think they see the coupling of that at all. But the average homeowner, the average buyers out, they know is happening to interest rates. They know what's happening with regard to all the forecasts of recession.
Which takes us to this week's topic. We talked about it earlier in the week, the percentage of renters who are not making payment. It's approximately 2 out of 10 in the Denver metro that are having difficulty. And there are two sides to this story. There are the renters who can't make the payment. And my greater concern, what does that do to the commercial side? What does that do to the investor side? How is the commercial side of real estate holding up for investors?
Well, amazingly enough, a commercial side is holding up pretty well. Um, we still have low vacancy rates, both in retail, commercial, and apartments. Um, although I did read a report a couple weeks ago where by the end of this year, which is we're now there, we have 10,500 approximately new units coming online in the apartment um, inventory. So I suspect that we're going to see a little bump in vacancy rates in apartments and a real slowdown in rent price increases over the next 2 or 3 months as those new apartments, that new product gets absorbed.
The word stagflation gets thrown around a lot, but I'm starting to see a trend. And I'll probably, I don't know if I would use it, but in real estate, there's definitely by their delaying tactics, it feels like stagflation for real estate, for these investors who have properties where they have renters who are not paying, people doing deferral payments. We've talked about all these different things. Do you see sort of this long, drawn out process dragging us into next summer where all of these things will come to a head for the Denver Metro?
I'm not sure I understand your question in terms of.
Well, what I'm concerned with is it seems like we just keep pushing everything off, like no big deal. Uh, we're kind of patchworking the real estate market in a lot of places. Does it feel that way in Denver? Does it feel like we're just kind of getting by and the shoe hasn't really dropped?
Well, one of the problems is that there's so much uncertainty. Okay, and so the perfect example is that Mortgage Bankers Association, their forecast for 2023 mortgage rates for a 30-year fixed, they're saying by the end of the year we're going to be at 5.4%.
Optimism.
Now, at the same time, I just saw on CNN our National Association of Realtors chief economist say that her forecast is 7.4 average, and by the end of the year 7.1. Okay, so there's a big difference between 7.1 and 5.4. Honestly, I believe if we get to below 5.5, the mentality changes and things pick up. So that uncertainty is not helping.
Yeah, and I think certainly whatever happens at the first of the year, whatever the first message is to the Denver area, is the message that they'll know. Whether or not it's actual or not, it's whatever the news starts to talk about real estate wise. And again, this is why you should call Don, find out about the market, get a real advocate on your side. Don't buy what you see on TV. It's crazy to me how little we talk about real estate through the holiday on modern media.
Yeah, and there is so much information out there that doesn't make it to the consumer. And here's one that I probably would do a Facebook post on. Bank of America did a study recently that said 70% of Gen Xers and baby boomers combined plan to retire in the house that they have. And those two age groups represent 70% of the total single family owner occupied homes. So that basically says 70 times 70 is like 50%. So half of this residential market is effectively off the market for a long period of time. So we are going to see this lack of inventory continue for the foreseeable future. And that's 10, 20 years. So, and certainly the builders aren't going to be able to keep up with new inventory. So we have this underlying housing shortage that's going to support prices regardless of what's happening with interest rates and regardless of what's happening with quote recession, depression, etc. And then you put on top of that, well, what is it? I just looked this up yesterday. 21% of the closings in the Denver metro market in the last 30 days were cash. So we still have cash. So we have a foundation of support for prices that doesn't get talked about very much.
I think there's great opportunities still. Use the information in the description. Give Don a call. It's as simple as that. Anything you'd like to add this week?
No, just wishing everybody a wonderful holiday season, and let's touch base and look at your particular situation in your particular part of Denver, because it varies a lot from neighborhood to neighborhood, and I love to drill down and do that analysis for you.